The worst movie I've ever seen. Worst movie I ever saw. And this is just my opinion, and other people have worse, I'm sure, far worse movies. But this is based on a very, very specific personal experience. Worst movie I ever saw was Wild Wild West. To me, that's the worst movie ever made. Because I was working at the MTV Movie Awards that year. I was one of the writers. I'm sorry, one of the producers.
Right.
And there's no Producers Guild. So they're doing they're going to do the song "The Wild Wild West" to promote the movie. Mm-hmm. And it's Will Smith. He had a guest list of 300 people. We had to find 300 seats for his posse. That's his friends. He hangs out with 300 people a day. Him, his dancers, everything. Just these fucking idiots. They build this massive Wild Wild West set. It's like a giant saloon, multi-leveled saloon. He comes for the dance number, and they rehearse it all week. He comes riding in on a horse, gets off. They have a horse handle and all this, animal stuff. He gets on stage. There's a big dance. There's this huge bar brawl with a fight all during the week. His people are there every day. By his people, I mean his 300 hanger-ons. They're stealing stuff. They're like grabbing these big, those like at the craft service. There's like a big thing of like licorice or Cliff Bars. They're grabbing shit, running out to the cars, screaming at PAs. Kids running around everywhere, knocking things over. At one point, I was backstage, and they had this cordoned off area for Will, and he's back there in his area, just sitting on a couch in this area like twice the size of this room, alone, totally alone, just sitting there, just staring at the ground. Like, so totally... It's because he has to hang out with 300 people every day. He can't just go, I'm just going to get a nice book, sit down, have a cup of coffee in a little restaurant somewhere and just, read and just be in my head. Yeah. And so for that moment, I actually felt kind of bad for him because he just looked like that. His life is a nightmare. He's not enjoying a second of this. They do this massive dance number the night of the show. The whole cost of the production, all the rehearsal, the people, was $4 million for one shitty performance of a shitty rap song on the MTV Movie Awards. Yeah. And it was to support this movie that I remember I went and saw it the day that it came out. No, that's not true. I went to see the South Park movie, and I got there early, so I just snuck into I watched the first 20 minutes of the Wild Wild West. Mm-hmm. The theater is half full. It's all full of like San Fernando Valley skate rats, like 13 or 14. And even they are, as the movie is rattling off its jokes, they're just going, oh, man. Like, they aren't even laughing for this horrible movie. And I've just never gotten over $4 million to do one thing to help raise awareness of this movie. They could have made 8 little memorable movies for that $4 million so he can lip sync a shitty, not even a real rap song, by the way. He just wrote lyrics over a song that exists. He's just going to basically do karaoke.
Did Kool Moe Dee come out at some point in that grand performance? Because Kool Moe Dee, I don't know. He did another rap song called Wild Wild West, like in the late 80s.
Maybe Kool Moe Dee came out and blew his head off. You know what I mean? Like, he just came out and shot himself.
No one noticed. That's so sad.
I go to work.
It'd be like, it's like
a doctor.
It's like in how people think that someone's hanging themselves in the background of Wizard of Oz. You could see Kool Moe Dee blowing his head off in this performance.
Kool Moe Dee, who could actually write, like, he could write amazing lyrics and actually worked really hard on his lyrics.
Yeah.
So that, like, the line, once upon a time in the West, a madman lost his damn mind. When you put something like quite or damn, it means that you couldn't, like, you have a syllable that's just kind of hanging there, you need to fill it with something, so that's just shitty rhyming.
Yeah. That's also funny because in a weird way, Screw on Head is kind of a million times cooler take on what Wild Wild West was kind of trying to do, which is like cool, like future gadgetry in the mid 19th century.
Right. But they bring in the whole weird dark sorcery thing, so it doesn't seem like. But they didn't have combustible engines when Grant was. Right. All right, fine. I call it the Air Gordon.
It really stuck with you though, so they must have.
They should put on a loop for They should lock Will Smith in jail, in a cell, and then on a loop is the scene where he basically, his character says that slavery was actually pretty cool. And that slavery wasn't that bad. And he just have to watch that on a loop over and over again. That'd be great.
I'm really glad I didn't see that movie now. I was glad at the time, and now you've brought it all back to me how glad I was.